The world of orchestral sampling has exploded in recent times and is easy to see why. The symphony orchestra has always contained a timeless quality that appeals to more musicians and composers now more than ever. As a result, the demand for orchestral samples is growing at an increasingly rapid rate, and one may wonder how developers can possibly keep up. However, there's one particular company dedicated to providing composers with tools at a consistent pace and has truly refined the art of sample library production down to a science. Of course, we're talking about none other than Spitfire Audio. Founded in 2007 by Christian Henson and Paul Thompson, Spitfire was born out of a mutual dissatisfaction of string libraries available on the market, so they decided to record their own. As they took their samples to the public and word spread like wildfire, so has their company into what we know today. In this extremely short video, we'll take a look at 5 core elements that you should consider before investing in their libraries and how you can best utilize them for your own productions. If you'd like an even deeper look into the libraries I personally recommend for virtual orchestrations and convincing mockups, then I definitely want to put my sample library buyer's guide in your hands. In this free guide, I've consolidated all of my personal favorite libraries that I use on an everyday basis for my work and provided some recommendations for your budget. Just click the first link in the description and it's yours absolutely free. Alright, so if you're ready, let's dive in. Let's begin with Spitfire Audio's vision. Right off the bat, they put it very simply on their website. We make sounds for film composers. Does it get any more straightforward than that? Browsing through the website, it's pretty easy to get overwhelmed by the sheer number of choices available to us, ranging from the typical orchestral sections like the Symphonic and Studio series, to smaller themed collections like the Albions and the Abbey Road series, collaborations with big-name composers and artists like Hans Zimmer and Eric Whitacre, sound design libraries, textural libraries, choir, guitarists, synths, keys, it's all here. Clearly, they're striving to be the sample library company for all composers, and their work is definitely to be commended. They also make it very easy to get started with their products using their own proprietary player and Labs, which is a collection of free instruments you can download instantly. So there really is no excuse when it comes to deciding whether to use Spitfire or not. You can literally try it out for nothing. Well, except an internet connection and a DAW. Let's move on to the actual sound of the samples themselves. No matter what library you're investing in, you can be pretty sure that the sound signature will be bright, detailed, and full, usually with a good helping of natural reverb from the chosen recording space. Their usual location of choice is Air Studios in London, and more specifically the Lyndhurst Hall. This large space typically lends a gorgeous silky finish to whatever is being recorded and seems to respond especially well to strings and woodwinds. Regardless, Spitfire usually provides a wealth of microphone positions for your own custom blending, which does give you flexibility, but it also comes at the expense of hard drive space. I personally find that the default mixes contain a beautiful balance of detail and room, and I tend to use those in my final mixes most of the time. Depending on the library, they seem to consistently find a microphone setup that really brings the best out of the samples and recordings, and therefore lends realism and a human touch to our mockups. I don't find the general sound of the samples as bright and clear as, let's say, orchestral tools or cinesamples, but rather there's a glossiness and a creaminess to their samples that lends a certain charm and vibe that you may or may not desire. Ultimately, the recording quality is very solid, does the job, and replicates the instruments accurately. In terms of pricing, Spitfire Audio serves the beginner starting out just as much as they do the working professional. As previously mentioned, you can get started with their libraries for free by downloading a Labs instrument and their custom player. It's relatively easy to use, and the GUI provides you with the bare essentials to prevent overwhelm. It's also a great way to introduce you into their overall ecosystem, as if you're happy with the instrument and want something a little juicier, Spitfire has their original series, which are slightly larger in scope and are built for specific purposes. These can include different types of strings, piano, and sound design elements, all for $29 each. Moving up from those, you have the Studio series, which are all around the $200 range and give you a good sense of how they sample the orchestra. You can also grab the Albions for around $450 each, and at the highest tiers, they have the full symphonic range and more specialized products that can cost near $1,000 per library. There truly is something for everyone here, and it all goes back to Spitfire's vision of making their samples as accessible for everyone as possible. In terms of sales, they do several a year while also involving the community at times to provide the largest sales to particular products that seem to be the most popular. This is a great way to build trust and rapport with their audience, something we'll touch on more shortly. You also want to keep in mind that they have several tiers for many of their products, typically removing microphone positions and articulations for the core versions of their libraries, thus limiting some of the options but also cutting down on the hard drive space, which can be very valuable. Their professional tiers give you access to everything, including all the microphones, so you can tweak them to your liking. When it comes to the way these libraries feel under the fingers and operate in your DAW, it really depends on whether you're using them in Kontakt or in their own player. I personally don't own any of their libraries in Kontakt, so I can't speak from experience, but they do seem generally easy to use, self-explanatory, and play well out of the box. In their own player, while it's not immediately obvious what all the knobs and faders do, the main focus is on the volume, expression, and reverb dials, while all the articulations are listed below in a pleasing manner and makes it easy to key switch between them or simply click on one to load it in. The microphone positions are located on another tab, and it's quite easy to blend them as you like to create your custom mixes. All in all, the player works very well, and the only thing I find myself wishing for at times is a multi-timbral option that allows you to host multiple instruments within one instance of the player. It's not a deal breaker by any means, but it's certainly something that would adhere to my workflow seamlessly. Finally, let's talk about the outreach and marketing behind Spitfire Audio. This is one area where I feel Spitfire is truly unparalleled in what they offer the composing community and public as a whole. Their YouTube channel is consistently active, and when they're not uploading promotional videos and walkthroughs, they've got their Spitfire Audio Academy, which offers interviews with other composers, live composing sessions, track breakdowns, documentaries, and so much more. It seems like they're aiming to be a definitive resource for the aspiring film composer, and building their presence through their channel is a wonderful organic way to do just that. In addition, on Piano Day in 2018, Christian Henson launched a website called Piano Book, a place where anyone can upload, share, and download their own samples for free, building a tight-knit community and allowing musicians to distribute their work and see it used by others. It shows that Spitfire Audio really does care about the community and what they're putting out there. In regards to their marketing, they have a robust team of designers, copywriters, and a support system that allows them to create and release libraries on a regular basis, building hype in advance and usually announcing the products in the forms of video walkthroughs or keynotes designed to create a more theatrical experience. They certainly don't pull any punches when it comes to sharing all the features that come with their libraries, but at the end of the day, they provide you with enough information to make your own informed decisions. As always, you should listen to the demos, watch the walkthroughs, and ask yourself if this shiny new library will truly benefit your music and workflow. Needless to say, Spitfire Audio is an absolute mammoth in the orchestral sampling world. When you consider how many libraries they've released, their commitment to content and value, and their online presence, it's very easy to see why many composers think of them first when you mention the words orchestral sample libraries. While their catalog may not be for everyone, you're bound to find something that suits your needs, and if there's a certain library you're after and can't afford it at the moment, you can always add it to your wish list on their website and you might be in for a nice surprise. It'll be exciting to see how Spitfire continues to develop their product line and what future collaborations with other composers and artists are in store for us. If you'd like to go a little deeper and explore some of my personal preferences, I'd highly recommend you download my Sample Library Buyer's Guide, which not only contains my favorite Spitfire libraries to date, but is consistently updated with new selections, pricing, and other resources designed to help you compose better music and equip you with what you really need. As always, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and if you'd like me to cover another developer, let me know which one in the comments below. I'll be working my way through as many as I can in the coming months, provided I know enough about them and use their products. With that said, I'll catch you in the next one. Take care.